Yo, what's up guys, TheInsaneGamefreak here, and it's time for Nostalgia Rush. Let's get into it. Yo, what's up guys? So for those who don't know what Nostalgia Rush is going to be, and I've explained this in an update, but let me just explain it one more time. Nostalgia Rush is literally going to be when I make a video that's regarding something really old school, like 90s, early 2000s old school, and just kind of talk about it. It's essentially a video for, like, reminiscing video for someone who's a fan of the series, and for shows that I can't necessarily do like overviews of each season. Like for example, Teen Titans, I could do that because there are plot points in each season, and there's like certain themes of each season. Not all old school 90s cartoons or 90s, 90s media was like that I was into. So obviously I can't do that. It was very episodic, and there wasn't really a point to anything. Like usually, like season 1 through season 4 was usually like a straightforward path. There wasn't really a theme to each season. It was just shit happening each season. So Nostalgia Rush is for shows like that. And essentially, this first one's going to be on Samurai Jack, partially because I said I was going to do season reviews of that, and I can't really. So I just decided to do it this way, where I can just do an all-encompassing video on the series, things I love about the series, things I think are cool, and just kind of, it's a nostalgia rush. It's a way for us to kind of float back into the past, back when we were like 13, 12, 10, whenever the fuck shows came out. Now for Samurai Jack isn't necessarily that old, but it's old enough. For those who don't know of Samurai Jack, and this is also a way I can get other people into old school shows and get them to look it up or some shit. I would say get the DVDs, but it seems like half of the old school shows don't even have DVDs. Like for God's sakes, Danny Phantom is just now getting DVD releases, and that show came out in what, 07? The fuck? I'm not joking. Like they're just now releasing season 2 DVDs of Danny Phantom. The fuck? But anyway, Samurai Jack, for those who don't understand the plot and the point of the story, essentially this is what it is. Back in kind of old school times, you had this kind of evil entity named Aku. This dude was originally sealed way before the story even takes place. But he has to constantly be being kept resealed because his evil is just that strong, and he keeps breaking free and shit. Well, let's say that it just so happens at the beginning of the story of Samurai Jack's story, he breaks free. Now, during the time he breaks free, Samurai Jack is like fucking 5 or 6. He's kind of the son of like the leader of the fucking village or country, honestly. And he doesn't really understand that much. So Aku like comes in and attacks and shit, and his father's already ready because he knows what the fuck is going to happen. Unfortunately, because Aku is so damn powerful, there are very few things that can take him down. Which leaves the country kind of fucked. So, being the brave man that Samurai Jack's father is, he sends him and his mother off so they won't be caught like in the crossfire. So they're kind of like floating away on a boat and some shit. And essentially what ends up happening from there is that Samurai Jack is essentially like traded off to different people to kind of learn the culture and to learn to kind of he grows up within different cultures, making Samurai Jack for the most part a very multicultural person because he grew up in many different environments. Like he'll hang out with people he'll hang out with kind of like ship seaworthy people, then he'll be on land for a little while, hang out with like some people in huts and shit like Indians, and then they had him kind of move into an Egyptian area, then the African area, kind of like that. Like, he was every fucking where, and he learned a lot of different cultures, a lot of different things, and he trained his body in a lot of different martial arts and shit. And essentially, it gets to the point when he gets older, like, I think he's like in his 20s or some shit, and he goes to find his mother. His mother is like chilling in this temple, kind of like learning to be like I guess she's a monk at this point, or some shit. But she was waiting for Samurai Jack to get there so she can give him the Holy Sword, which is this epic-ass sword this mystical sword. I'm not 100% sure of the details of the sword. I just know that the sword is very mystical, and it has a lot of magical properties to it, and it can just fuck shit up. Like it's very hard to break this sword. Like this sword is like damn near indestructible, and it's the only thing that can actually damage Aku. So, and I'm assuming she was holding it for him until he was ready to come get it. So he comes get it. Then he's like, "Fuck it, we're going back. I'm going back home. I'm taking it to Aku." He goes back home. He learns like his father's been like enslaved, like along with a whole bunch of other people in the village. So he frees those people, and he goes over and he attacks Aku. And he and Aku had this epic battle. Now, mind you, everything I'm telling you happens in the first fucking episode. Just think about that for a second. This epic that I've explained to you so far is all within the first damn episode. But anyways, he and Aku are fighting, and Jack, and this is what I love about it, but Jack can beat his ass, essentially. Jack was about to kill him, or at least destroy him, and fucking Aku pulls a dick move and creates a time portal and throws Jack into the future. So the plot of the story is essentially that Jack is trapped in the future. He has to keep running around in this Aku-infested world, which is now, Aku has now conquered like other planets and civilizations. So it's like the world has become this jumbled up mesh of like a whole bunch of different races and people and technology and shit. He has to travel through this land, find some type of time traveling device, and get back to the past and kill Aku to undo all the crazy evil shit he's done. And that's the part of the story. Now, I was about to say something I really love. This is what I love about Samurai Jack. Aku isn't able to beat Jack at the beginning of the series. Aku is not one of those villains who Jack has to train to overcome. Aku is one of those villains that's just hard as fuck to get to for like half the damn time. Like literally, that's the whole joke with Samurai Jack, is that he's fighting a villain that he can beat. It's just that Aku pulls a lot of devious shit. Because even though Jack is very multicultural, he's still not really good in terms. Like it's kind of like in today's society, you would say someone's book smart and someone's street smart. Jack isn't like street smart, essentially. Like he doesn't really he understands the concept of deception, but he's not very good with it. So like Aku will keep fucking with him by lying to him in many different ways. It got to the point where he actually disguised himself as like a woman and befriended Jack, just so when they both got to like this time traveling able like stone and shit, he could get there first and destroy it in front of him and fuck with him. That's how Aku rolls. He's not necessarily stronger than Jack, he's just very devious. And plus the fact that he rules the goddamn current world Jack is living in, it makes it even harder for Jack. Now the problem is, the reason why he most of the time he can't fuck with Jack is because one, the sword, two, Jack is a badass on like so many different levels. And this is why I love the fucking character. You cannot fuck with Jack on a fight. Like on a one-to-one fight, most people can't fuck with Jack. There are very, very, very few people who can fuck with Jack in a fight. And that shit is cool as fuck. Also, it seems like Jack has like a sense of swag to him. And I don't know where this comes from. This may come from the fact that he is voiced by a black dude. For those who didn't know, he is voiced by a black dude. I forget the voice actor's name off the top of my head, but he's he was a comedian for Mad TV like way back. And you can tell if you know who I'm talking about, and then go watch like an episode of Samurai Jack. You're like, holy shit, I did not expect that. But that's the thing about Jack I love, is that it's a story where he's kind of, and as I said, it's very episodic. And a lot of people be like, well, doesn't that seem kind of boring? I was like, well, normally it would be if it wasn't Samurai Jack. Because they created this fucked up world that you can kind of explore. Like, none of the episodes are really similar in the sense that you're seeing the same shit over and over again. Because of a whole bunch of different alien races and shit, you have the fucking potential for like the most ridiculous shit. And that's essentially what we get. Like, for God's sakes, the first few episodes of Samurai Jack, he's in this fucking weird ass city where like these kids these alien kids talking slang. And then like later on he ends up in a club, a techno club, and ended up having a conversation with dogs. And I don't mean like dog, like slang dog. I mean like literal dogs who were fucking excavators and shit who were being enslaved by Aku. And then like later episodes he ends up fucking going underwater and dealing with like this underwater civilization, which is obviously a reference to Atlantis and shit. There are episodes, hell, there are fucking episodes where he's just doing stupid shit. Like honestly, this is actually one of my favorite episodes. There's a point in the and there's a, I think it's in one of the later seasons. There's an episode where some little kid like steals Jack's what was it? Stole like Jack's clothes and sword and shit. So like the entire episode is kind of like an old school cartoon where he's like going around in the city chasing this kid who has stolen his shit, even though he thought it was a rabbit. I remember that he kept thinking it was a white rabbit who stole his shit. And it's like you find out it's like a little kid was stealing his shit. And he's like running around the damn city naked trying to find like random clothes to get his original outfit and his sword back. And I thought that was hilarious. It's also, it's like you have those episodes, like the really chilled ones. And then you have like the really action-packed episodes, like the fucking, the robotic dark samurai episode where there was like 4 of them. And they were all like heavy in certain combat. Like one was good with the sword, one could shoot guns, fucking missiles and shit, and the claws, and they looked like, they had like these straw hats. They looked like dark-ass samurai, and it was cool as fuck. Like, Samurai Jack to me encompasses a lot of cool, epic things about the action-packed genre. I think the only thing that would have made it, honestly, any better in my eyes is if Samurai Jack had kind of like plot elements in each season. That's the only thing about Samurai Jack that I can see people not liking, is that it's very episodic. Even though most of the episodes are very ranged and very interesting, I will admit that the episodic nature is kind of jarring depending if you, and it all depends if you like the episodes. There are very few episodes that kind of cross over. And just to mention a few of my episodes, I think any of the Scotsman episodes were great for me personally. I have a bias with the Scotsman. The Scotsman is like one of my favorite secondary characters. I like the monkey episode. Now, to explain what the monkey episode is it's like an episode where he meets like these creatures, these monkey-like creatures, who are being like bullied by these bigger monkey-like creatures that seem like they're both monkeys, but they're like a different race of monkeys or some shit. And Jack, and it's kind of a trade-off. Essentially, Jack teaches them like strategic warfare, like how to set traps and to set a strategy up facing these fuckers. Even though they're not physically stronger than them, he's kind of learning from Aku if you think about it. He's using like tricks and like guerrilla style warfare to beat these guys. That's what he's teaching these monkeys, and then in turn these monkeys are teaching him how to jump really, really high, because that was one of the gimmicks. Because at the beginning of the episode it's like Aku grabs like this time crystal that he was going to use, and he couldn't reach it, and Aku kept fucking with him. Like he had it like this, and Jack would be like, you're like, and at the end of the episode, when he learns how to jump really high, there's a really funny phrase in here I fucking love. He's like, "You can fly? No, just jump good." And then he like jumps to the floor. I thought that was funny as hell. Also, I seem to like some of the dumbass episodes a lot, like the fucking Black Swordsman episode where he meets this black swordsman and talks a lot of shit, talking about I am the ultimate samurai. He's like literally a black stereotype, acting like he's a samurai. And like he tries to go out there and face Jag, and like Jag isn't even fucking taking him seriously. Like he hits him with the sword and cracks off like his fake muscles, and you see like a skinny fat body underneath. And he kind of like, and then I kind of wish that character had reappeared, because by the end of the episode he was kind of like, "Can you teach me your ways?" and some shit. It was pretty funny. I kind of like the chill episodes. I mean, the action-packed episodes are epic as fuck too. Like the first 2 episodes are really epic. Like the fucking dog freedom thing, where like he's setting up all these tracks. He takes those diamond crystals and turns them into like spears and shit. He's setting up all these traps. The nigga's riding. What is he riding, like a horse or some shit? And he's just like cutting these fucking animals. Like, it was ridiculous. I was like, "Son, get him, get him, get him!" Oh no! Jack has a lot of epic moments, And by far, one of the most epic things about Samurai Jack is when that nigga's head thing comes off, and then you see the nigga has long black hair. When you see the long black hair, you know shit's about to go down, because it's just like, son, you fuck with his hair. You fuck with the man's hair. What's the other one I like? I like the evil Jack episode where where Aku makes like an evil version of himself, makes an evil version of Samurai Jack and has them fight each other. What was the other one? Is like this bounty hunter. I forget the details of the episode, but it's like the bounty hunter has the ability to like summon a whole bunch of other warriors, and like the entire episode, Jack has to like figure out how to beat this one guy while fighting off all these niggas he keeps summoning and shit. And I forget how he beats them, but it was really fucking clever. And ironically, most of the ones I'm mentioning are like early episodes because of the ones I mainly remember. But I mean, all in all, Samurai Jack to me is probably one of my favorite shows, and the nostalgia with me with that show isn't as high because, as I said, it's not as old as other shit I've seen. But it's still a pretty fun. It's probably one of the best like action kind of plot-driven shows on some level. I mean, mind you, also the one that sticks in my mind, and I know this is later seasons, and this one I don't know why this one particularly sticks in my mind. It's one of those in the later episodes they started to throw like three or two stories into one, and there's this one where they throw in the Metal Family monster bullshit where like he meets this family, and then we find out like this family are like robots and they're trying to eat his sword or some shit. The second part I believe was like he wanted to grab there was this fairy that could grant wishes, and like this gargoyle-ish creature had woken up. And the thing is that the gargoyle had like this weird fucking case he had captured the fairy in, where you could stick your hand through it, but you couldn't get your shit out. Like, so what he would do is he like grabbed where the fairy was at, but his hand got stuck in the case with the fairy. So, and the only way he could do it is if he had to sneak in there and grab the key off this dude. Now, a lot of people would suggest, why didn't he just fucking... I forget the reasoning why he didn't just go in there and take it. But I think he was trying to be all stuff about it. So it was like this quiet episode where he's trying to do everything quietly. And the irony of it all is the thing that woke him up was the fact when he got the key was like another sphere with this big sphere. He didn't know how the fucking key worked. So what he kept doing is he kept tapping the shit out of the fucking key onto the sphere thinking something would happen. And the fucking dude gets up behind him, and by the end of it all, he ends up killing the dude anyway. But the irony is that now they can't figure out how to get open the thing, and they're screwed. And so Jack has to waste the wish on getting them both free. I don't know why I remember a lot of the chilled episodes more than the action ones. Also, but oh no, there's one other action one I really liked. The fucking Golem episode where he's like, he keeps hearing voices and he ends up falling into the... I'm rambling about episodes now. I probably should stop. I kind of wanted to just like throw out taste, but this is the last one. He hears the voices, he ends up in this cavern, he ends up fighting this Golem. And this Golem wants to fight because he's like a warrior that Akuf kind of fucked over and turned him into this Golem. So he never got the dire warrior's death. He just got entrapped into a rock golem body. So it was like this epic battle of like Jack versus the Golem, and it's like you're upholding a man's honor by killing him in battle, because that's how old school warriors do it. And I was like, son, yeah, Jack. I also love the fact that his opening was kind of rap oriented. It's like, what was it like? Gotta get back to the past, Samurai Jack. Gotta get back to the past, Samurai Jack. But yeah, I think I've rambled on enough for the Samurai Jack nostalgia rush. So please place your comments and kind of how you enjoyed the show, and if you've seen the show, and if you haven't seen the show. I think Samurai Jack is one of the few shows that has all 4 seasons out on DVD. So those will be in the comment section. I think Cartoon Network may still have the episodes up for it. I doubt it, but if they do, I'll put that in the links too. Samurai Jack is my shit. Great show. If for the younger generation who doesn't know what the fuck Samurai Jack is, go look it up. Go look it up. Go look that shit up. It is the shit. The samurai shit. So, anyways, this has been the Insane Game Freak. Tell me what you think about the Nostalgia Rush series. And, you know, life's a gameplay to win. Comment, video responses, everything is always welcome. Thank you for liking and watching in this video. And I'll catch you guys later. And, peace.